Hey, it's Nay. Welcome to Hey Nay. So, if you cannot tell, you can see that I am sitting in the seat that I used to sit in the earlier episodes when I started doing them by myself. Um, and I thought I should do at least one more time in this seat just for old time's sake. Well, the topic for this episode is partying and dating. And what I'm going to talk about is about, um, house parties, club partying, bars, things like that. And we're just going to touch base on all those things. So first, um, you know, when it comes to house parties and things like that, um, should you should you and your significant other ever throw a house party? And I say yes, for sure, do that. Have a good time, especially if it's like a birthday or a special occasion and things like that. I think that is so great because usually you're inviting your mutual friends. You pretty much know everyone. So it's a really, really great environment. And it's good because then um, you can also introduce your significant other to some of your friends who they may not know as well, or they can get to know your friends more in a setting that's a lot inviting and you know what I mean, and allows for separate conversations to happen and mingling and things like that. So that's really, really great to do. Um, should you and your significant other go to a club party or something like that? That is a little different. I myself am totally down for that. I think that's fun, and I think that people should do, should sort of do it, like once in a while. But I am aware that there are individuals who don't really like that scene. They don't really like club partying. Sometimes they think it's too loud, it's too noisy, or it's too much. So they don't really like to do that. So you need to sort of see where your significant other stands on that, and you can sort of read them because usually people who don't really feel comfortable being at a sort of like um, you know club or clubbing, you can most often sort of read it. You can sort of see it in them, and you can directly ask them, to like see how they feel, and maybe a compromise could be associated with it, in which you guys can go like I said, every once in a while. So it's not like every weekend or every other weekend. And I know when you're younger, it's very common to do it because it's just sort of part of the atmosphere, and it's a way you sort of just have a good time and release the stress of the week and things like that. Um, and that sort of goes into the other thing, which is dancing. So a lot of people don't really like to go clubbing because it involves them dancing and they may not feel confident about their dancing. But, did your significant other decide to be with you because of your dancing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that was the defining moment. And I also think that when you're dancing and you're around people that you enjoy and you like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You're having a good time. So I think as long as you're just, unwinding and just enjoying it, just enjoy it. It's not going to be forever. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to be dancing, into tomorrow, into the next day, into next week. You know what I mean? It's not something that's ongoing all the time. So it's just for the moment and have a good time. No one is expecting, professional dancing unless you're a professional dancer. You know what I mean? So I just think that you should just enjoy it, relax, and unwind. It's okay. You can even do like silly things. If you want, you can even do a routine, come up with something. So if a popular song is coming on, you can dance to it, or your partner can dance to it, or even if you're single, it's always good to just dance. And I know that's another thing too, in which when people are single and they go clubbing, they're usually trying to like pick up a girl or something like that. But sometimes it's hard if you don't dance. And it's not, you could, there's usually always a slow song at some point depending on what kind of club you're in. But if not, you could just always just, move a little bit near them, and tell them too. I think, especially as a guy, when it comes to girls, I think it's okay to tell a girl that I'm not really that good of a dancer, but I want an opportunity to be close with you. You're in. Come on. Come on. You're in. So I think that is always a good way of doing it. And and maybe they can teach you. You know what I mean? They can teach you too. They could do something, and that works both ways. Um, girls, if a guy comes up to you and asks you to dance, you're just like, and I've heard this. I'm not really a good dancer. Well, that's okay. I could teach you a little bit. And I think that's fine. You can do that, or we can just talk. That's totally fine too. Or go outside for some air, which is common, especially when you're in a club where it's very hot and sometimes you just need air, you need a breath because everyone's all around you and it's very crowded, it's very loud. Sometimes you just need a break from everything before you come back in. So I always think that's great too. Um, but I mean, partying is, I think it's a good thing. I really think it's a good thing. And I think I've talked about this before um, when I was doing your partner's friends with Matt, and whether or not you can dance um, with someone. So in Hey Nay, in Hey Nay's in the Hey Nay episode of Your Partner's Friends and Dating, Matt and I were talking about this, whether or not you're allowed to sort of dance with your partner's friend or things like that. And that's all based on you guys. I know some of my friends are okay with me dancing with their significant others, and I know some other friends I probably wouldn't do it just because I know the type of relationship they have. But it's about trust and things like that. So, like, what do you think is going to happen? Things like that. But it's all about you, and it's all about you sort of making an agreement and seeing sort of how that works. But if something does bother you, you should share it. And you should share it with your partner. You shouldn't make a big scene out of it. You should share it with your partner, and then your partner will change things. But I think it's very interesting. I remember one time this girl who I know, I know her boyfriend. Her boyfriend and I are very close friends and everything. And we were like in class, a couple of classes together. We were in like the same dorm building and everything. And we were out, and I knew he was in there. And I was like, oh, like, because I know he doesn't dance. So I was like, oh, do you want to dance? Like, let's dance. And she was like, oh, no, I can't dance, Nay. I can't dance with you. I'm here with my boyfriend. My boyfriend, his name is blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say his name. His name is blah, blah, blah. I'm with him. And I'm like, I know that. I know that. It seems like he doesn't really want to be here, but just like you wanted to dance. So I was just asking if you wanted to dance. If you don't want to dance, that's totally fine. But I was just asking, I know you two are together. I've been around the two of you for months. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it was very funny and weird. I'm not sure if she was intoxicated or anything, but it was just very, very weird encounter. And I was just like she was telling me something that I didn't know. It was as if I was a stranger approaching her and didn't know her situation. But I totally knew her situation. Her boyfriend was totally fine with it, by the way. But she was just weird. So it was, things like that. You sort of have to be able to sort of tell and read. So I'm a little bit more careful now. But with my friend, I have a good time. I like to have a good time, but I do know that everyone is very different, and I like to dance. So I don't know, it's to each their own, I guess. Um, Now I want to talk a little bit about bars. It's very common for people to try to hit on someone at a bar, but then a lot of people also state that they don't want to find their long-term partner in a bar. But I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever the venue is, it doesn't really matter too much. And I feel like I've talked about this before in a previous episode. Um, but it's all about the type of conversation you have. And I think when you offer just like, oh, can I buy you a drink? I think that's a nice gesture, and things like that. Sometimes they'll say, no or yes, depending on how they are. Or they may think that you're trying to go. I'm like, nope, I just wanted to get you a drink. Sometimes it's just like that. And as a guy, I can honestly tell you, sometimes it's just about like, oh, like, you seemed a little, bothered, or you seem sort of upset. Let me get you a drink, or things like that. Um, or sometimes it is to get your attention. It doesn't, or you just had a great conversation with them, or you know what I mean, something like that. So there's nothing really to it. So if you're trying to pick up someone at a bar, it's totally fine. Um, and I like that because it's mostly just conversation. You're just talking. You're just getting to know each other. You're just unwinding. Usually, it's like you're just briefing each other on each other's lives and sharing that and seeing commonalities and things like that. So that's great. I love it. Um, and stuff like penning for your thoughts. You just sort of, you know, pouring out things about yourself because a part of you may think that you may not really see this person again. So sometimes you just keep the talk. I mean, sometimes those type of conversations can lead to other things, and that's totally fine, up to you. But usually, just having a great conversation is good. And if it does become something, then that's good. That's good for you. And you can say that, hey, we met at this bar, and this bar can be this place where you've met, and you can remember it for years to come, and all that stuff, and blah blah blah. So that's totally fine. It could be your bar. I would refrain from, hitting on multiple people at the same time, because you never know who knows each other. So I would try to refrain that, especially in that same setting. So I would try to, steer clear from that. And there comes the wingman. So there's this concept of wingman. If you don't know what a wingman is, it's someone who sort of advocates for you with someone that you're interested in. And I think a wingman is always good. Even a wing woman is good. And a lot of times they can communicate things to a person better than you can. And I think that sometimes that's good. Because a lot of times you may have a hard time with words, or you may say the wrong thing and things like that. So it's good for that. And a lot of times I find that when I have someone who's sort of being that wing person, I come off as a little bit more mysterious and more interesting to that girl, because then she's interested in, like, oh, like, like, tell me more about him. I want to get to know him. Or she tries to pick my brain more to try to, like, understand me more. And of course I play along with the mysterious thing because I'm just so silly. But it's good. It's good, and we have great conversations. And sometimes things lead to other things, but it's great conversation. So I think all of these things are meaningful, and I think that when it comes to partying, you should be open. You should be open, but you should also have an agreement or understanding if you are in a relationship. But if you're single, I say, just have a good time. No matter what happens, just have a good time. Okay, so I think I've talked enough, and I think that's it. So I want to thank you all for watching, and especially in this seat, which is so crazy. I can't believe it's been a while since I've sat in this seat. But I just want to thank you all just for continuously watching. We only have 2 more episodes left. So keep watching. Stay there with me. Like, share, love, and remember to always start your day off with a hey. Goodbye.